Last week, Nigerians went to the polls to elect a new House of Representatives, Senate, and perhaps most importantly, a successor to incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, who's coming to the end of his second term. After a couple of hiccups with the new electronic voting process, provisional results suggest that Bola Tinubu has emerged victorious, but both his opponents have since demanded a rerun. So in this video, we're going to look at how the election played out, why the results have proved controversial, and what Tinubu's election might mean for Nigeria. So let's start with a bit of context. Since 2013, Nigerian politics has been dominated by two parties. The People's Democratic Party, who held power continuously from 1999 until 2015, and the All Progressives Congress, a party formed by the merger of four smaller opposition parties in 2013 in reaction to the PDP's political dominance. Since 2015, the presidency has been held by the APC's Muhammadu Buhari, who won re-election in 2019. Buhari served in the Nigerian army from 1961 to 1985, rising to the rank of Major General. He actually served as Nigeria's military head of state from 1983 to 1985, after seizing power via a military coup. During this time, Buhari's regime carried out extensive media censorship and various human rights abuses against its political opponents. But he also launched an anti-corruption campaign and implemented several relatively successful economic reforms, including the reduction of expensive food and fuel subsidies. After leaving office, Buhari ran for president in 2003, 2007 and 2011, but was unsuccessful in his bids. Anyway, when he eventually became president in 2015, Nigeria's economy didn't perform well. The Nigerian economy was already slowing down when Buhari was elected, due to a drop in oil prices after 2014, which pushed the country into recession by 2016. During his first 4 years, GDP per capita declined steeply, unemployment rose to above 20%, and the naira lost about half its value against the dollar, pushing inflation above 16% in 2017. Nonetheless, Buhari was widely credited for a successful anti-corruption campaign and various infrastructure projects, and he was re-elected by a wide margin in 2019. However, in his second term, Buhari's appeal has waned, and he now has an approval rating of about -50. This is for at least three reasons. First, Nigeria's economic problems have persisted, with high levels of inflation and low growth. Second, Buhari's government has faced multiple allegations of corruption, which has undermined his image as an anti-corruption crusader. Third, while the Buhari administration has made progress against Boko Haram, the security situation in Nigeria has deteriorated, with increased violence in rural areas and around the Niger Delta. Anyway, Nigerians finally got the chance to oust him last weekend, when they went to the polls to elect both houses of parliament and a new president. Originally, it looked like a two-horse race between the two main parties, who both nominated established politicians. The APC nominated Bola Tinubu, a 70-year-old who used to be the governor of Lagos, and the PDP nominated Atiku Abubakar, a 76-year-old who was vice president from 1999 to 2007. Both men have mixed records in office. As governor of Lagos, Tinubu endeared himself by investing heavily in public services and infrastructure, but he's been mired in multiple corruption scandals. Abubakar is a successful and popular businessman who started his career in the Nigeria Customs Service, but like Tinubu, he's seen his fair share of scandal. However, in the last couple of months, the race has been disrupted by Peter Obi, a relatively fresh-faced 61-year-old who's the candidate for the lesser-known Labour Party. Obi's campaign has focused on the fact that he's not an established politician, in the same way that the others are, and he's found support among Nigeria's young people, which is a pretty good move in a country with a median age of just 18. Polling from December actually had Obi in the lead, albeit with a significant number of undecided voters. More recent polling from early February gave Obi more than a 40-point lead over his opponents. Nigerians finally went to the polls on Saturday, and the voting process ended up being relatively peaceful, despite delays at polling stations and a couple of allegations of voter fraud. This was Nigeria's first election using a new electronic voting system, with ID cards validated by fingerprint and facial recognition, and the votes were supposed to come in relatively quickly. However, glitches meant that voting had to be extended into Sunday in some polling stations, and on Monday, many stations were still yet to upload their results. Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, otherwise known as the INEC, acknowledged the issues, blaming, quote, technical issues. But the fiasco provoked scepticism in a country that has a long history of electoral fraud. Results trickled in over the next couple of days, and on Tuesday evening, a Reuters tally of votes in 33 of the country's 36 states put Tinubu ahead, with about 34% or 7.6 million valid votes. Abubakar in second with 29% or nearly 6.4 million valid votes, and Obi in third with 25% or about 5.5 million votes. If this Reuters tally is correct, it means Tinubu is very likely to be crowned Nigeria's 16th president in the coming days. Now, the fact that these results don't match up to the polling doesn't mean they're rigged. It's difficult to poll Nigerians, especially in rural areas where Tinubu's support is strongest, and the APC is an impressive electoral machine. It's also worth saying that Tinubu lost to Obi in Lagos, his home state, which suggests that the results are indeed legitimate, or at least that he's not very good at rigging them. Nonetheless, the combination of technical glitches and an otherwise suspiciously good result for the incumbent party, who have presided over a period of national decline, has provoked some controversy. And on Tuesday evening, both Obi and Abubakar demanded that the election be rerun. The big question now is whether or not Nigeria's democracy can survive the election. If the results are further delayed and both Obi and Abubakar continue to cast doubt on the electoral process, then it's easy to imagine public upset boiling over. On the other hand, if Nigeria's democracy can pass this test, its political institutions will come out of this election stronger than ever, which would be good news for the long-term prospects of a country that's expected to become the world's third most populous by 2050. If Tinubu does become Nigeria's next president, he'll have a tough job on his hands. For the last decade or so, Nigeria's economy has stagnated, and the security situation has gotten significantly worse. While Tinubu has promised to restore prosperity by ending Nigeria's dependence on oil exports, this is easier said than done, and his party's record in government doesn't bode well.